This exhibition takes us back to an era of antiquity known as the Bronze Age and focuses attention on the second millennium BC, an era that resonates in our minds when we hear the names of famous rulers such as Hammurabi of Babylon and his stele of laws, the heretic king Akhenaten and his queen Nefertiti, Tutankhamun and his fabulous tomb, the legendary king Minos of Crete who ruled the seas, and Agamemnon of Mycenae, whose exploits at Troy were recounted in Homer's Iliad. In fact, these figures and many other rulers, traders, and travelers all played their part in creating an era of unprecedented interaction that characterized the first truly international age, which brought resources from as far as Central Asia and the Indus in the east, Nubia in the south, and Central Europe in the west into the eastern Mediterranean and Western Asia. The quest for metals, particularly for copper and tin, to make bronze weapons and tools, as well as precious gold and silver, was the driving force in this era of intensive trade and communication, which carried not only foreign raw materials and manufactured goods over long distances, but also created an era in which travelers shared new discoveries in innovative technologies, their interaction fostering a brilliant period in the arts with the creation of international styles that combined elements from a variety of cultures. We begin in the heartland of Mesopotamia, the land between the two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, with works that have been associated with the great ruler Hammurabi of Babylon, famous for his stele of laws, which are inscribed on this famous stone made of diorite, which you see at the left, below an image of a king before the sun god. Around this time, a dignitary, perhaps in this nearby city of Larsa, dedicated the figure of a kneeling ruler with his hand similarly raised to his lips in supplication to be placed in a temple in perpetual prayer to the god for the life of Hammurabi, as we read in an inscription on its base, the scene repeated there with the god seated before him. It was probably found along with the statue of ibexes, sacred to the god, and the added precious metals, gold and silver, enhanced the value of these offerings. Eventually, Hammurabi conquered the city of Larsa and extended his power into Syria, taking control of one of the greatest cities of this period, that of Maris on the Middle Euphrates, which you see winding across your screen. Mari, famous for the royal palace of King Zimri-Lim, full of statues and brilliant wall paintings, and also famous for its archives, which emphasize its role as an emporium through which goods such as tin flowed from centers in Iran through the ports of the Mediterranean. In fact, it has been suggested that a number of the pieces of lapis lazuli discovered in a deposit beneath the Temple of Tod near Egyptian Thebes may have come from a temple treasury emptied somewhere near the city of Mari and brought to Egypt as part of a collection of masses of this precious stone which originated in Afghanistan, some in raw form, other formed as beads, amulets, and seals carved in styles that show that they were created over a wide range of areas. There were also silver vessels in the hoard that may have come from Anatolia, modern Turkey, with its silver and other metal resources. An inscription in the Tod Temple refers to what foreigners who traveled across the land had delivered. Around the time that this rich deposit was dedicated, certain Near Eastern cities, such as Mari and Ugarit, with its ports on the Mediterranean, developed special prominence as centers for the westward transfer of great quantities of tin, lapis, and other commodities. Another was Byblos, its close ties to Egypt demonstrated by objects in royal tombs and deposits in a temple with obelisks dedicated in its courtyard. Among these, figurines and elaborate ceremonial weapons, a type of luxury object that we see throughout the show. Ashur was another such center, and Assyrian merchants in this city on the Tigris near modern Mosul established a network of trading settlements in cities such as Kultepe on the central Anatolian plateau, traveling by donkey caravan laden with tin and textiles while assuming control of the internal trade in local copper. Their activities are documented in great detail thanks to the discovery of their archives found along with their unique pottery and a small but engaging ivory figure, one of a number of ivories, many of them plaques with Egyptian-type imagery found in the vicinity of other merchant settlements on the Anatolian plateau. The beginning of a trend in the Near East of producing luxury furniture embellished with carved ivories that persisted for royal furniture in succeeding centuries. One must imagine that numerous other ventures that crisscrossed Western Asia, carving paths out of mountain passes and deserts, as illustrated by a wall painting preserved in an Egyptian Middle Kingdom tomb, showing a donkey caravan with travelers wearing colorful Asiatic textiles and carrying foreign products to Egypt. They have been interpreted as traders bringing eye paint to Egypt from Asiatic lands, migrant workers, itinerant tinkers, or foreign tribute bearers. In our show, we also highlight ornaments of interaction, jewels combining features derived from various sources. Imagery reflecting interaction, such as the adaptation of Egyptian royal and ritual motifs throughout the Mediterranean. Shared board games and practices such as bull leaping, with traveling acrobats, musicians, specialists such as doctors and priests, as well as craftsmen. Texts celebrate their expertise, with kings demanding foreign skilled artisans who could transform a piece of metal or wood into lifelike images.